Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so we are back in Tustin, and let me tell you, Stark Health is going to get us going right when it comes to our New Year's resolutions, staying on them, and more importantly, man, I still need to set mine, so I need some goals too, so we're going to talk about that as well. We're recording from Stark Health over in Tustin, as I mentioned, and Todd, man, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Happy New Year. So are we allowed to still say
Happy New
that?
Year. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
For another day or two.
Yeah, so I think about you often, Todd. You don't know that, but I do think about you. And I was like, what does Todd do during the holidays, and how does he get through it, eating and otherwise? So I got a couple questions for you on that. But first, let's introduce Todd. Todd Vande Hei is founder of Stark Health. It's a Southern California-based healthcare company. It's redefining what it means to practice medicine. At the heart of his mission is a shift away from reactive, pharmaceutical-dependent care and toward a proactive model grounded in root cause healing. His clinics integrate advanced diagnostics like DEXA scans and comprehensive lab work with primarily non-pharmaceutical interventions, including strength training, nutrition, lifestyle optimization, and stress management. All right, Todd, how do you get through the holidays? Like, do you binge eat? Do you go off or are you just like on it the whole time?
That's a great question. I would suggest to all of you that I eat the same things and I do the same things and I drink the same things as all of you. I just do it with, the ratios are different. Does that make sense? So, yeah, during the holidays, actually right around Thanksgiving, I went on a cruise.
Okay.
And I have very little discipline. We can talk about.
Makes me feel good.
Very, very little. When it comes to sugar,
okay.
I can go without alcohol.
Yeah.
And I do for long periods of time, but then periodically I drink a lot. And I can really drink a lot because my liver function is like way better than when I was in college.
Yeah.
It's just highly tuned up. And I think that the frequency is a really interesting concept because when you put barriers up between you and the things that you really love doing that give you pleasure, the experience of those things, like drinking with friends, is better. It's more novel. Does that make sense? And so it's a much more joyful thing for me to blaze through a pint of Ben & Jerry's Chubby Hubby because I don't eat it very often. Right? So when I went on this cruise, which was 10 days long, like I don't ever recommend going on a 10-day cruise. You can eat everything at all times. Have you guys been on cruises? No? Yeah, it's terrible. And I have no discipline. Every night I had like a second and third dinner and dessert. And I tracked my macros for a few nights just to get a grip on what was actually happening. And I was eating between 4,000 and 5,000 calories a day.
Dang.
And I felt like it. Like I felt terrible the whole time, but I couldn't say no. And it's okay for me to do that for 10 days out of the calendar year and drink a lot with some college buddies, like once or twice a year, and enjoy ice cream on the weekends in this state. And so I would define myself as highly metabolically flexible, which means that my body is able to turn energy into something useful very efficiently. And if you are on the other end of the spectrum, like many Americans are, you're metabolically inflexible. That means every steak, every Cheeto, every bite of Chubby Hubby ice cream,
it hits you.
It goes right to your visceral adipose tissue and puts you at greater risk for cardiovascular health problems. And I don't have that because I'm here. The road to get here is challenging and takes a long time. But once you're here, it's really hard to give it up because you remember what it used to feel like. And just so you guys all know, we have a team of clinicians and other licensed practitioners. I'm not one of them. I am you in the new version of you, but I was way worse than you in the old version of me. Does that make sense? Like I was an expert at destroying my health with my work. And I'm the company crash dummy. Everything new is tried on me because it will likely not work. And so a lot of the theories and ideas around new therapies. One of my favorites is the cryosauna. You guys know what a cryosauna is? Are you guys use cryosaunas? All you guys? Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. We got to cry.
The benefit to that is immeasurable, and maybe there's some advantage. Like, it's hard to get yourself to go into the door, and there's an advantage to that. Like, there's a part of your brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex that gets larger. It enables you to do hard things by doing hard things, by practicing. But other than that, I don't really see there's much of a benefit to doing that particular thing. And so we blazed through that, wasted $50,000 on a machine, and went on to the next thing and the next thing. 15 years of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Landing in a place where we have millions of data points in labs and DEXA scans and bone mineral density scans and orthopedic assessments. There's not a lot of question about the foundations of what make a human healthy. There are questions about new therapies, tertiary solutions.
Before we get into some of the questions, we have new people in the house, and at home we have new viewers. We've been getting lucky. Show's growing. Talk just a little bit about Stark Health and just about the thought process behind it for those that don't know what it is.
Stark is a healthcare company that is focused on what I would describe as the opposite end of the spectrum from traditional healthcare in the United States. So by that I mean, if you're in a car accident like Dan was, you go to the ER. That's the left-hand side if you're me and you've got this perspective. And on the far right-hand side, where nobody else is health optimization. And that's us. In the middle, most Americans bouncing around, struggling, having New Year's resolutions, failing by February, that whole story.
Yeah.
And not really getting anywhere. And then periodically they become sick. They end up in the system. So we are a healthcare system that's entirely focused on, and we're experts on optimization, not so much car accidents, broken femurs, or heart attacks.
Yeah.
We are not in that world. We're in this other one that's much more fun.
Yeah.
As per our friend Chirag over there.
Yeah.
With his abs.
So how should we be thinking about like getting healthy, things like that, losing weight? Even a lot of people make those type of goals in the New Year's resolution. And like you alluded to, maybe they don't stick with it or they don't keep them. Like, how should we be thinking about that?
So the first step, we talked about belief. All right. There's a great book called The Biology of Belief. I highly recommend it. It's a book about the epigenome, which is Greek for above. Your epigenome basically controls your genes, flips them on and off, switches on and off. And so the first step, the most foundational step before you do anything is to believe that you actually can. And most American consumers are so steeped in the idea that they are who they are because of what they were born into. Right? And that, from my personal experience and all the reading I've done and lots of research and greater understanding of the epigenome today, I don't believe that at all. Like, I'm 5'7", and I know I'm not going to grow any further. The belief that you can change the things that you're not complete in, which is a lot, is the underpinning of being successful in any New Year's resolution. And so what I mean by that, more specifically, if we're talking about like joining 24 Hour Fitness and going to the gym, if you believe that every time you go into that gym, it matters, the likelihood, like your son, the likelihood of it impacting you is far greater. And the likelihood of your attendance goes way up. And the intensity by which you approach that workout goes way up. Everything becomes better because you nearly believed that it was going to work. Does that make sense? So that is the first step.
Yeah.
Okay. The second step is to make sure that that New Year's resolution is so tiny that you can do it for the rest of your life. Okay. So an example would be, let's say you guys are all the standard Americans and you walk 3,500 steps a day. Your New Year's resolution is to walk 4,000 steps a day. And you probably sounds boring to you, right?
Yeah.
But you can do it for the rest of your freaking life. And then you're going to do it for 30 days straight beyond the fall off of the New Year's resolution period. And then you're going to ask yourself, well, can I do 4,500 steps a day? And the answer is probably going to be Hell yeah, I can. That's like another 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 8 minutes or something. And you stack those things over the course of, let's say you're thinking like that and you do these minor changes that you can hold on to forever. They compound. It's just like finances, compounding interest for your body. That's the way you become healthy. It's so boring. It's so boring. It's boring like every other thing that you've been successful in your life. Like the road to get there was maybe not excruciating, but it was like kind of boring. Like going through law school, for example. There are probably times where just like it's a grind, but you got through that and now you're practicing law. And there's a lot of grind in your practice. Things that you would rather not do, but you do it over and over and over again. And those things have a great impact when we're talking about health, on your health long term. I mean, just imagine that you go from walking 3,500 steps a day to 3 years later, walking 15,000 steps a day like Chirag. You will not be able to eat enough food to maintain your muscle mass. Like weight loss is not an issue when you're walking that much. Doing it over long periods of time, that's the solution.
I feel like you were looking at my tracker somehow. 3,210. I'm ashamed.
Ouch.
Ouch, I know. How do you call 4,000 now?
I guess. I mean, I have all these stats in my head at all times.
I know you
They're
do.
bouncing around.
All right, so first part we got to think we can do it. Second thing is we want to set goals and things that we can do for life.
Yeah.
What are some of the non-negotiables or like the foundational elements we should be thinking about?
The first thing, so I think this ties really nicely into New Year's resolution because it should be one of these things. The first thing is high quality sleep. The second thing is, because we're modern humans, high protein. And the third thing would be walking. Like they're so boring. You notice I didn't throw in a gym membership.
Yeah.
Like that would be sometime after these things are really like dialed in and over long periods of time, you prove to yourself that you can do. And they just become habitual. They become effortless.
Yeah. Go into the protein thing a little bit.
Okay.
Because I've heard you say it before, but I'm still learning and I want to know more.
Okay. So this isn't exactly biologically correct, but you're going to remember this. Protein is like nature's Ozempic for modern humans.
You're going to say this like 30 different ways at some point, and I'm going to get it, but please continue.
Like nature's Ozempic for modern humans. I eat roughly 160 to 180 grams of protein. Most people would be like, oh, that's so high. Some people would be like, I eat the same thing, right? If I was a hunter-gatherer 12,000 years ago, with the diet I have today, I would starve. And the reason I would is because protein is incredibly satiating. So that's one thumbs up for modern humans, meaning that if I eat in a meal 60 grams of protein, the likelihood that I'll consume as much Chubby Hubby ice cream right after is lower. It's lower. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to eat. My desire to eat is diminished because it's so satiating. The second thing is it's highly inefficient. The thermic effect of protein, which is the energy it takes to assimilate it, is terrible. And it's roughly between 25 and 35% of the calories that make up the protein that you use just to assimilate the protein. And so your body's like consuming this filet mignon or the chicken that you just ate. And your body's like, damn, we got to dedicate all this energy just to breaking down that chicken. And we're going to use some of the energy from the chicken itself to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of energy. And then third, protein is necessary. It's part of a solution or a two-tactic solution. You need it to build muscle, and we need muscle as modern humans because we live really long. And in the future, as all of the longevity businesses and clinics and products and therapies start popping up, one of the number one challenges is sarcopenia. Have you guys heard of sarcopenia?
No, I don't know about it.
It's the gradual decline of muscle mass that's age-related. It doesn't have to be age-related, but that's the big battle in the future. It's not heart disease or cancer. It's going to be that. And you become brittle, and it's very painful. achy. It's my mother. My mother, I love my mother. She's 130 pounds and she's like 120 pounds, 5'2". So just imagine an 80-year-old lady, 5'2". She's not large, right? She is roughly 35 to 40% body fat, which is beyond the obesity limit. She doesn't look obese. She looks tiny, like a tiny old lady. But what does that mean for muscle mass and bone mineral density? Her organs probably weigh the same. I may be off on that. They'll fact check that thing. But her muscle mass and her bones are light. She has hardly any muscle. The experience of walking to the kitchen when you have so little muscle and your bones are brittle is excruciating. Sometimes I can't motivate people with sunshine and rainbows. Perhaps I can put some fear, strike some fear in your hearts, because you should be afraid of that.
Does not sound pleasant.
It's a life of misery, and nobody wants to die. So you're holding onto life in this miserable existence, racked with pain at all times. It shapes how you see the world, your relationships with people, the enjoyment you have of your life. It's hard, right? And it's optional. Not so much for her at this stage in her life, sadly, but for you guys, it's optional at your age because you're much younger.
Yeah. So you did mention that, those are the things that you would recommend initially of all the things that we talked about. And that's for people specifically in New Year's resolutions. Let's say that maybe there's some people in the audience or at home that they're kind of fit. They're good. They want to go to another level and they're like, okay, I got that. I'm walking, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But now if I want to take my fitness level to the Chirag level, like what? I mean, not everybody can.
Good luck with that.
Like, what are some things I should be thinking about? Like, and not beyond like join a gym. I mean, like, what are some things that I should be thinking about if I'm really, serious and I got some other good things in place already?
So the targeted outcomes are intuitive, meaning we can spot a healthy human from 100 yards away with my eyesight, which isn't great. Yeah. With the sun setting and you only see a silhouette, you just see the shape of the body. And if that person is healthy, what you will definitely see in a healthy person, regardless of age, and generally young, is you will see a flat stomach. And we are intuitively attracted to these things too. Flat stomach indicates in a flash, without contemplating it or thinking about it or doing research, like that's hot. Well, why is that? It's because there's lack of visceral adipose tissue that would otherwise push your stomach out, which indicates cardiovascular health risks, probably not a good mate. And mostly occurs with older people because you accumulate these changes over time and then they become problems in the future. So young people generally have flatter stomachs than older people. Doesn't have to be that way, but that is created over time through how you live your life. So that's the first thing. So you want to find solutions to have a flat stomach to get rid of that visceral adipose tissue, which is easily measurable on a DEXA scan. You should have under 1 pound. And at that state, 1 pound or lower, you have a flat stomach. So you represent youth with your stomach in that state. You don't have to have abs. I mean, abs are nice, but really they're just recreational. They're not necessary for your health, right? Like he when he was 20% body fat, which is fine. That's like a pretty healthy adult. He didn't have abs. He had a flat stomach though. That's cool, right? That's great for your health. And the other thing is a nice, round, juicy booty. And that indicates for men and women, this is not just a female thing.
No.
Okay. That indicates healthy hormones. It indicates a degree of lower body strength. And it indicates a degree of lower body orthopedic health. Like there's a part of you guys familiar with the glute med? Yeah. The upper outer part of your glute complex of muscles that atrophies with high heels. Little food for thought there. It goes away very slowly over time because of sitting. And your brain's like, I don't need that thing anymore, especially the glute med. And that enables, that particular part of the glute complex enables you to balance. So as you're walking. And as it atrophies over time, over long periods of time, by the time you're 60 and you're female and you step off a curb, you no longer have that strength to keep you in balance. it's more likely that you fall over. And because you don't have the muscle mass, you likely don't have the bone density as well. And then you have the fracture and all the horrible statistics that spin up from there. And so this is my theory that at a glance, humans recognize the round booty and the flat stomach as healthy because it actually is healthy. Like having a youthful degree of muscle mass, which is optional for everyone, you will be a healthier mate. And therefore, we're kind of attracted to those things. Does that make sense? So the sleep and the walking and the protein won't get you the round booty. They will get you the flat stomach. But now you have to go beyond that and start to develop properly. The fast track to that, like you're a healthy individual, for example, is you need to learn how to do strength training properly. And that's not intuitive. It's very hard to do it properly by watching a YouTube video. And I would suggest you hire a really good strength coach to teach you how to move properly. And that good strength coach, if they know what they're doing, will tell you to take your shoes off because your feet also are a part of this biomechanical complex. And if your feet don't work because you wear high heels, your arches start to flatten out, your big toe doesn't work, your big toe indirectly connects to your glute med, and the whole thing won't work. You'll end up using your back and injuring yourself doing a deadlift or something like that. So a great strength coach that can point those things out. Take your shoe off, push your big toe down to the ground. Your knee should be slightly outside of your pinky toe. And they're going to tap your glute med and be like, this is what's supposed to feel like it's flexed and it's all squishy. And you're literally going to, I can describe this because I've been through this process where my glute med my whole glute complex was shut down. I was like, I can't. It's like going through physical therapy. You know, people struggle after a stroke. It's like, I can't take that step. You have to relearn that because your brain was like, I don't need that thing anymore because you stopped using it. So you have to retrain your brain to engage that. And then you have a proper foundation. Your feet work well, your knees are in the right position, your hips are moving well, and the musculature that makes up your glute complex is all operating the way it was designed. And eventually you're like, your body's like, oh, I remember, because it is who you are. You just gave it up for a while. And when you get it back, you're like, damn. Like when I walk around, I feel my glutes like swinging back and forth. You know, I'm paying attention to it. I didn't pay attention to it when I was younger. But my point is that it's familiar. And it's all possible to get back. The road to get there, depending on how long of a period of time you've gone without using them properly, indicates how long it will take to get that stuff back. But it's a very worthy goal, one of the smartest goals to have from a strength training perspective. So I would say that's the first one beyond those basic things. And, you know, we're talking to some of your friends about the unnatural nature of strength training and the way dumbbells are perfectly balanced and barbells and such. It's very, and you do it over and over and over and over again. So the repetition results in faster adaptation than you would get in the wild. And so you have to be very thoughtful about how you approach strength training. Otherwise, you will create orthopedic problems from getting stronger because you're doing the stupid young man thing and developing your biceps too much and your pecs because you can see them in the mirror. And meanwhile, your posture is suffering as a result. And then 20 years later, you have a neck problem. I sound like I'm speaking from experience? Yeah, I did all that stuff to myself. So that's strength training. Now, you want to go beyond that, some of the exciting technology and therapeutics, as long as you, like technology, for example, as long as you don't get so emotionally wrapped up in it that it affects like an Oura Ring or a Whoop or a Garmin and you're using it to track your sleep. If it hurts your sleep because you're so like, I got another bad night's sleep.
How would it hurt?
Because people, maybe not you.
I don't know. I don't know. No, I didn't say that. I'm just asking.
It can hurt your sleep because you are stressed because you're not accomplishing what you set out to accomplish, indicated by the report from the thing that you're wearing.
Oh, so you set the sleep goal and then you get mad because you don't hit it.
Because you don't hit it, and you can't sleep the next night. Yeah, and over and over and over again.
It's complicated.
So the technology is very helpful if you can kind of remain at arm's length from it and be like, well, I'll try these other things and I'll try this next thing and I'll try deep sleep inducing peptides, which is something we'll talk about in a minute, and see if that works. And that worked for 2 weeks and now it doesn't. You just sort of become objective, and it's a journey. And you're not too wrapped up in trying to get those fast results. It does not happen fast. I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice I can give you about your health is just relax. Like imagine, I don't know how long you guys think you're going to live, but I imagine I'll live to like 120. Do I really need to be so wrapped up in getting a six-pack by May when I'm going on that trip to Greece? When I've got another 50 years of life? Maybe I can go in with just a flat stomach and then next year, maybe a 2-pack. That's no big deal. And maybe the year after that, I start looking like Chirag. And it's 2 or 3 years into it. But I keep that for the rest of my life because I took my time getting there. You understand? It's a very different way of thinking, non-fitness industry way of thinking. This is the way to be if you're pursuing health. And 6-packs and booties, they come with optimal health. So it's not like you got to sacrifice the way you're looking because you're pursuing health, which I sometimes see with some of my friends. Like, oh, I'm just mostly concerned about living a long time. I'm like, well, geez, that's not going to work out with that belly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are you doing to create that? Other solutions that are more advanced? And I'm cautioning you now here because we're going from lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, stress management, things like meditation. You guys all know that those are powerful tools. Those are foundational. And if you skip them and you go straight to testosterone replacement therapy, or you do all these things really well and you're like, but I'm not going to give up the half a bottle of wine every night. You're just wasting your time almost. You're probably getting some benefit, maybe social benefit by going into a space like 24 Hour Fitness where your buddies are. But that's not enough. Well, maybe it is for you guys. My time is precious to me. I want to make sure that when I put effort into a thing, like maybe getting a little bit stronger or something, that I'm actually going to get there. And I'm not just spinning my wheels. So you can't give up those primary solutions. The tertiary solutions work extraordinarily well, even if they kind of suck, if you're doing those primary things. And it becomes sort of difficult to measure. Like, is it the protein or is it the growth hormone inducing peptide? I don't know. I'm going to do both. And someone else just does the peptide and they suck. It's just that when your body is not fighting various forms of disease states, which could be anything from cardiovascular health to body composition to mental well-being, orthopedic problems, when you're not fighting those things, the beneficial solutions, peptides and hormones and such, they don't have an uphill battle, so it theoretically becomes much more easily.
They work better, maybe?
Like they work at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like a solution for me, like sermorelin, I have a serious neck injury, and that's a growth hormone inducing peptide. Works very well because of how I eat, how I sleep, how I exercise, how I meditate. I believe that everything I do is going to produce spectacular results. And so my approach to the work that has to be done is with greater intensity, not more time. I just believe it. I'm trying to do it as good as I possibly can because I know it matters. That's why those foundations are so critical, because all the money you're going to spend, and those are really expensive things, I think they can be, peptides, supplements, TRT, HRT, they can become quite expensive. So if you're concerned about the money, do the foundational stuff really well, and you'll get more from your money.
To close us out, Todd, maybe just talk a little bit about your show and the type of content, what you got planned for the new year. I want people to check it out. Health is a Skill podcast.
Okay, so the topics are a combination of what I think you need to know and what I see as grossly problematic among the US population. And those, the way of thinking is evolving. And you have to give me some grace here, because the work product at Stark is the human body. And unlike when I was manufacturing products in the past, where I knew everything about the work product, we, as in humanity, do not know everything about the human body. So it is rapidly evolving. My understanding of it's evolving along with that as fast as I can make it happen. And not within a silo, within a team of people that are constantly poking at each other. I'm a part of that team. Like, what about this? What about that? No, I think this is true. I think that's true. It's a constant debate that does not occur inside of the medical system. And so I would hope that if you listen to the podcast, you'd find it to be dynamic and thoughtful and always holistic in nature, because look at each other. We're just like one thing, right? We're not 13 systems or whatever, you know. And the more we know about the human body, the more we recognize the powerful impact of our mind as well. And how that doesn't just shape the decisions we make, but it affects the effectiveness of the decisions that we make. Awesome.